MNDF officers arrived at Artificial Beach in full riot gear. The situation took a worse turn as both sets of protesters started hurling rocks at each other. Several casualties were reported as the clashes continued until MNDF officers dispersed the crowds. MNDF then assumed control over the area as they pushed back the protesters into the city. Police officers returned to area and were seen talking to MNDF officers present at the area. Police officers also assisted MNDF forces resume control over the Artificial Beach area and dispersed the angry crowds. Police forces then left the scene, leaving the control of the area to the National Security Forces. Shortly after, media reports stated that police forces attacked the MDP Haruge, spraying pepper spray and destroying properties in the Haruge. News emerged that a group of police officers headed to the Republic Square, demanding that top police officials pledge that the police force would not be asked to carry out any actions outside the Constitution. MNDF forces headed to the scene and blocked off all civilian access to the square. Media was also restricted from entering into the Republic Square area. Although the police had not confirmed the number of police officers who participated in the Republic Square protest, a large number of police officers gathered at the area, voicing their discontent. Media reports said that Commissioner of Police Ahmad Fasih tried to calm the gathered police protesters by saying that he would meet them at a calmer and different arena. But the police at the Republic Square refused to move. As the night wore on, the police protest continued with MNDF controlling the surrounding area. The Republic Square protest continued into the morning as the media reported that President Nasheed has arrived at the scene of the protest. He spoke to the gathered crowd, but the protesters rebuffed his callings as MNDF forces rushed the president to safety. Civilians, both pro and anti-government, pushed into the Republic Square as both security forces clashed with MNDF using tear gas to disperse the crowd. As both anti-government police forces pushed back against the MNDF forces, the military forces retreated their position. Reports emerged that some MNDF defectors joined the police and civilian protests, calling for the ouster of President Mohammad Nasheed. Media reports also say that police and MNDF officers made 3 demands. The demands were the resignation of President Nasheed, the resignation of Police Commissioner and his 2 deputies. MNDF and police forces then headed to the state media MNBC and took control of the station at around 11 in the morning. Shortly after, President's office announced that President would resign officially at a special announcement. The first democratically elected President of Maldives, Mohammad Nasheed, resigned at noon today. As the events of last night unfolded, massive casualties were reported as emergency was declared at the 2 main hospitals in the capital.
MNBC One and Raja Radio previously operated under Maldives National Broadcasting Corporation. MNBC is rebranded to its previous names, Television Maldives and Voice of Maldives. This was formally announced by the 23 December coalition earlier today following the takeover of the stations by police and military personnel. They said from today onwards there will be no channel under the name MNBC One or Raja Radio. The names of TVM and Voice of Maldives were changed to MNBC One and Raja Radio on the 10th of August in 2010. Following the change in the country's executive power, Maldives Broadcasting Commission raises concerns as MNBC has now been abolished and TVM and VOM have started to broadcast after rebranding. The Maldives Broadcasting Commission has also met with the department heads of these stations. Speaking about the issue, Vice President of the Maldives Broadcasting Commission, Mohammed Shahib, said speeding up the legal process of re-establishing the stations have been discussed with the station heads. As the broadcasting license of the Maldives National Broadcasting Corporation has now been cancelled, Shahib added that discussions were carried out on the remaining tasks to give legal status to the channels. Shahib noted that though TVM and VOM are currently being supervised by the military, important efforts remain at hand to hand over the channels to the Maldives Broadcasting Corporation. Tonight, onto the MNBC court case, which is currently at the appeal stage at the High Court of the Maldives. Shahib stated that it is now important to recall the case and also called on the newly sworn-in President, Dr. Muhammad Wahid, to transfer legal power of TVM and VOM to MBC. Shahid added that an appointment from the new president has been requested in order to carry out discussions on speeding up the transitional process. Speaking about issuing of license to the Maldives Broadcasting Corporation, Shahib stated that they have the full legal right to request for broadcasting permission anytime and added that as soon as the request is filed, permission could be given in a matter of 5 minutes' time. Vice President of the Maldives Broadcasting Commission, Muhammad Shahib, stated that it is strongly anticipated that free and fair justice would be practiced even throughout the transitional phase. Shahib also expressed satisfaction about the current station heads of TVM and VOM, stating that they are with broadcasting experiences and with knowledge of broadcasting ethics. A team of police and MNDF personnel goes to Girifushi and releases Criminal Court Chief Justice Abdullah Muhammad this afternoon. Justice Abdullah was detained on the 16th of last month. He was detained after High Court ordered to postpone the summoning of the judge to the police station following allegations of misconduct. Relentless protesting continued in different parts of the capital following his arrest. Demonstrators voiced their anger at the government till date because of the unlawful detention. Justice Abdullah's whereabouts were disclosed for the first time after 4 days of the detention on the 19th of January. MNDF revealed the details of Judge Abdullah after his family sent letters to the police and MNDF requesting information about his detention. High Court and Criminal Court ordered MNDF to bring the detained Criminal Court Justice Abdullah Muhammad before the court. The High Court order follows an appeal filed by the Judicial Services Commission concerning the violation of Judicial Code of Conduct by Justice Abdullah. But MNDF did not heed the court order. Hearings in the case were scheduled and later cancelled a couple of times because of his absence. As we see the departure of a president and his successor taking over, we should also note that President Muhammad Nasheed was a champion, a hero for a lot of people, especially the international community. As we look at some of his major personal achievements during his 3 years as President of the Republic of Maldives.
Soon after sworn in as the Maldives' first democratically elected president in a multi-party electoral system, former President Muhammad Nasheed was awarded with Anand Award on the 19th of June 2009. This was followed by him taking the topmost position in the Heroes of the Environment 2009, selected by the Times magazine on the 22nd of September. Former President Muhammad Nasheed was honored with Green Award given by The Independent. He was also on the list of 6 members who were awarded as the Champions of the Earth, annually chosen by the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP. Former President Nasheed also secured the 2nd position on the list of most successful leaders selected by the leading US magazine Newsweek. He was also listed in the 39th position on the top 100 global thinkers selected by America's famous Foreign Policy magazine. Former President Nasheed also won the World Technology Award chosen by the World Technology Network. He was also nominated to the Hall of Fame of the Vanity Fair magazine. He also won several other international awards during his 3 years as the President of the Maldives.
The Human Rights Commission of the Maldives says it is hopeful that the new government will be proactive in its commitment towards the protection, promotion and fulfillment of human rights as stipulated in the Constitution. Speaking with TVM, HRCM's Deputy Commissioner Ahmad Tolal said they are hopeful that this change will turn out positively. He said that although we are seeing transition, we should adopt to change as we have in the past. Tolal said we should remain as one and let the democratic change take its natural tour.
So the Human Rights Commission, again, we are hopeful that the new government will be proactive in its commitments towards the protection, promotion and fulfillment of human rights as stipulated in the Constitution of the Maldives and also the international human rights instruments. So it is, while we regret the kind of event that we saw last night and we hope that that kind of violence and that kind of sort of upheaval or sort of boiling over doesn't repeat in the country, we're also hopeful that, that the new government would be proactively involved in the protection, promotion, and fulfillment of human rights.
The HRCM said even with this transition, it is important to realize we are all Maldivians despite political differences. They said for the betterment of a nation, it's imperative to remain united as a country. Furthermore, HRCM said it is vital to realize we are all Maldivians who has the same language, same religious values, and we should abide by the Constitution. Speaking about the new government, HRCM said the people should refrain from letting this transition fail by all means and in all